Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. We are on day 12 of our fast, and we are on chapter number 5 of the book of Esther. We're starting 4 minutes late. My bad. I was trying to set up when I got home. Go ahead and tag some people in who you know are typically here with us. Go ahead. Let me see. Beautiful day today. Send. Come on, come on. There we go. Oh, there's Joy. Happy Tuesday, everyone. But we're getting started. Um, there we go. Great day, everyone.
Good morning.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Good morning.
Your hair is always like. Listen, I worked my way up to lipstick. Okay.
It looks great. The
I
curls
worked my way
are.
up to lipstick. Pardon?
I said the curls are curling this
Okay,
morning.
curls come through.
They got it. You got it. Give me this leg
They
cord.
got a little bounce, stiff weird.
Bouncing and behaving. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Happy Tuesday, Joy.
Happy Tuesday.
Yes. So today we're on chapter 5. Is there anything you want to say before we get into it?
Don't want to say anything. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Maybe if we could have, like, throughout the call, if right there on the couch, if anyone has had, like, I don't know, like a breakthrough, or they got clarification on something, or their anxiety has been less, like anything that has happened for them in a positive way, or they got like a better understanding on a situation, if they can maybe drop that in the chat as like you like drop in the chat so people can see, how God is working, in our month of September.
Right. Give me a second. Let me open the door for this girl. Keep talking.
Sure. Okay. So today is Tuesday. We are going to have a fabulous day. I have been reading, or shall I say listening to, I'm now trying to get into audiobooks. Real Talk Kim has a new book called Get Up, Get Up, Get Up. So good. I wish she wrote the book 2 years ago, because that's when I really needed the book. But the principles to me are she's writing it from a relationship standpoint, but I think it could be used in business and everything. Just the philosophy of, you have to, whatever situation you're in, you have to speak against it if it's negative. So you have to always intentionally be like wiring your mind to think the positive. Like, I'm an overcomer. I am not a lacker. I am gonna crush this business. I'm gonna crush this day. I'm a great mom. I'm a great husband. Like, whatever it is. But her book is so good because a lot of times, when you're going through a situation, or something may just happen, and it's so easy for you to start to look at the negative, and then start to self-doubt. And then once you start in that negative self-doubt, it's like a rabbit hole. It keeps, it's just like you can get further and further and further and further and further and further. And so you wake up and woe is me, and oh my God, my life is so horrible. So I've been listening to either Girl Get Up or Get Up, Get Up, one of the two. But that's my new little thing now. I love that book.
Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, you're right. It's like positive gets positive, negative also negative. The truth is, when you start feeling sad, you have to look for things to be sad about. You have to, in order to keep the momentum going, you have to search out for things to be sad about, to maintain the sad. If you are angry, you gotta search for things to be angry about. to keep the momentum going.
Correct.
Because it's like a fire, right? You need to literally put, wood in the fire to keep the fire blazing, or charcoal, right? And so you have to realize, if you wake up and you keep talking about the thing that makes you sad, that's why you're still sad. If
Right.
you are, finding people who want to hear about the things that makes you unhappy, that's why you're unhappy. If
Correct.
you are literally just, constantly being around other people who are, girl, I can't believe, man, I can't believe, other people, if you're on a job and you're around the people who are always complaining about the job, no wonder you hate the job. There are never going to be any reasons for you to like the job. If you are around people who hate your boss, no wonder you hate your boss. You
Right.
are literally getting proof every single day. I learned this a long time ago, that whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it, right? Whatever you're looking for, you're going to find it. Whatever you're looking for. It is just the way things are. Whatever you perceive to be true, even if it wasn't originally true, because of the power of belief, you will begin to see things, even if it's not facts. Your mind will begin to only see that way. If you have a suspicion about somebody and it's not a legitimate suspicion, guess what? All of a sudden, you're going to have so much proof. I told you she didn't like me. I told you this. I told you they weren't doing that. And if one day God could put you behind the scenes, you'll see that even the thing that made the most sense, there were some other things that was leading to that results. It's just because your mind is so focused on one direction, that's all you're going to see. So you really have to begin to pray over your mind, pray over your thoughts, and change your group. And she said, girl, get up, or guy, get up. You got to move. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Right.
if you are literally feeling a particular way, the best way to break that pattern is to move, right? If you are experiencing a certain feeling, the best way to break that momentum is to move. You got to move out of your thought, move out of your situation, move out of your physical location, move out of, I mean, try it one day. If you're on the job and everything is just getting to you, go outside and change location, see literally what that will do for you just by changing location. There is a show on Netflix, I think it's called Blue Zone, and they're looking into factors where people are eating carbs. They are some of the poorest people, and yet they're living the longest and the happiest. And it's legitimately because their environment, they're surrounded by other people. And the reason why these, in order to be considered a blue zone, is because it collectively, the body of people there are more likely to live to be in the centurion. So it's not just a one-off, these few people live to be 100. This is out of all the world, these 7 areas in the world had the most cluster of the highest and longest living people. Some of these people didn't even have access to good health care, and neither
Really?
did they even need it. One place was in Costa Rica, which was high up in the mountains, very remote. And when they went to go look for this centurion, this guy had to be about 101 years old. And this guy legitimately was, sorry, my dog's trying to play fetch while I'm on the live. Uh, this guy was like riding a horse and gathering his cows, and he was 101 or 102 years old. And they eat a diet of corn and black beans. But back to what I was saying is they move. They're continuously moving. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. They're not feeling like, oh, woe is me. I was also listening to Ian Dunlap this morning on a clip that someone else played. And Ian was saying, what did America expect was going to happen? If you sent all the jobs overseas to China and to India, and now those are going to be the next superpowers because they are amassing wealth like never before. But the truth is, in this country, there are certain lifestyles and certain costs of living that is ridiculous, right? And
Right.
so people have this mindset about what success is, and so they're depressed because they're not getting that idea of success. They have a
Right.
mindset about what a happy relationship is. And so they're depressed because they're not getting that kind of relationship that everybody else wants. They don't have somebody buying them a car or flying
Right.
them out or giving them a 20-carat diamond
Right.
or giving them 500 roses. And so, you know, I'm not loved. They don't have somebody buying them a Chanel purse and all of that. But somewhere else in the world, people are literally living longer together, fussing less, staying married longer, because their experiences or their expectations are different. He even went to Singapore, and in Singapore, the cost of, let's say, a regular car was in what would be 50,000 in America, was $200,000 in Singapore. Why? Because they don't want people to drive cars. They want people to live closer together, build stronger bond, build stronger relationship, and live healthier so that they're not as lonely. America is one of the loneliest places. We have so many people, there's so many of us online, but truly, because we have this different mindset and ideas that are what God would call, the Bible calls vain imagination, so many people are living lives that are filled with anxiety, depression, you know, frustration. And so as a result of that, they're just miserable, right? Staying in relationship
Right.
longer than they need to because they want to look like a power couple, staying on a job longer than they need to
Come
because,
on.
you know, they don't want to seem like they don't have a job, you know,
Right.
staying in friendship groups longer than they need to because they want to be with the 18-year-olds, you know, buying things that they cannot afford because they want to look like they're successful, you know, doing things for their children that they can't keep up with because they don't want to be left out of what's going on. You know, it's crazy, right? And so,
Right.
this girl wanted me to play fetch, but she wants me to fight for
Good
it. Give it. Anyway, so yeah, that was a great way to start, Joy. So if you're in here, please share with us, how have you grown? Would you stop? Oh crap! Sorry, I threw it the wrong way. 1 second. Gosh, I cannot play catch right now. I'm sorry,
So
my
if you're
dog
in
is like
here,
a baby.
oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you're on here and you've grown and you've improved, you have gotten clarity, you are in a better place. I just got a testimonial from someone yesterday, you know, and she was saying that she just started her realtor career,
Mm-hmm.
and since joining the challenge, she's been able to identify 2 to 3 different mentors. In fact, some of them even identified her and said they would like to help her. You know, so remember we covered mentorship.
Right.
She said
Right.
her mind is opening up about life, and she's renewing her mind about, would you stop? She's renewing her mind about several things. Joy, seriously, this is what I'm dealing with. I
Hey,
want
little
I
bookie
want people to
boo.
see the foolishness.
Hey,
She
little
wants me to play
bookie
with
boo.
her, but she won't give me the toy.
Too funny.
You know, this is like first world problems. Because if we were in Jamaica, she'd be outside. All right, people are like plants: sunlight, positive environment, good soil and water. That's so true. Fresh food, not American food. They grow their own. Yes. Let's see what people are saying. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get through these comments. Okay, I only got a couple. Yeah, she was saying that her mindset has changed. She's now confident about going into this career. She's excited about it. I've had a couple of persons told me that they were able to shift the direction of their career because I started asking for testimonial. They were able to shift the direction of their career. One lady in particular, she was able to put out a proposal, and she already got a response on the proposal, and so she's in a better place because for months she was unclear about what her next step was. You know, I tell people all the time, you just literally need to follow what we're teaching you. You know what I mean? What we're asking you to do. I'm gonna open my laptop because I want you all to know that this is not a joke, what we're giving you. Let me tell you what's in the challenge, because I don't think people realize. I think, Joy, if I would have charged $997, then people would have realized that we're giving them something powerful. But because it's free, sometimes, when something is free, it's like, okay, I'm going to sign up for this. By the way, we've had over 600 people sign up for this challenge. Okay. Yesterday was 500 something. So right now we're just over
Yes. Come on,
people
Jesus.
sign up for this challenge. So I want y'all to know that in the group right now, we have over I want to say it's closer to 200 people who are in the actual group with us. Yes, I see somebody else just said, I see rainbows. Everyone breakthrough is happening. Yes. Okay, cool. That's great. Congratulations. But I want you to know that the challenge, literally, let me talk through it, right? 92% of New Year's resolution failed by January 5th. 75% of people have abandoned their goal by the first 3 months of the year. More than 50% of small businesses fail within the first 5 years. 80% of projects are abandoned because they are before they. No, I'm not trying to play. Before they're completed. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I created this. What you'll get out of this challenge, you get clear understanding of your personal and professional goals. Day number one, before you even do anything else, the first thing is to assess where you are. Where are you in your goals? Where are you in accomplishing your goals? And how much more do you need? The next thing is you build a roadmap to finish what you started. So now that you know what you need to accomplish or what you haven't accomplished, then the next step is to build a roadmap. Then you learn how to manage your time and your resources. So I can tell you personally that this challenge, now I do what would take me a week to do, because I don't know if a lot of y'all know it. If y'all ever hear me talk, you'll pick up on it. I have insane ADHD. Okay. So if y'all ever hear me talk, you'll pick up on it because I can hold 100 different thoughts in 1 minute. So you will hear me give you like 50 million different facts, and I'll still have to tie them back together, which is Holy Spirit, by the way. But that's literally ADHD you're witnessing, right? But because of this challenge and because of the tools that are in there, I can accomplish in 1 day what usually take me a week to a month because of a lack of focus. That's what's in this challenge. How do you join this challenge? Somebody please type, text me the word comeback. DM me the word comeback, and I will send you the link for the challenge. DM me the word comeback, and I'll send you the link for the challenge, and I'll pin it. Thank you. Follow me, DM me the word comeback, and I'll send you the link for the challenge. Next thing is, by the way, at some point, this is going to be paid because we have more than 100 testimonials, more than 600 people who've joined. And so we know it works. So if you're getting it for free, Joy and I are giving you this for free. Stop playing around. Stop playing games. You should have testimonial by now. In May, when I made my account, because I was dealing with a lot of things, I had functional depression the whole year. Please DM me the word comeback. Not comment, but DM. Because when this live goes down, we won't see the comments. We'll only see the DM. Thank you so much, Melissa. Let me pin that. Thank you, Melissa. So you won't see the comments. I won't see the comments. We'll only see the DM. So DM us and then jump back on. So in April 29th, 30th, I prayed to the Lord. That was like, pardon?
I'm being a mom. Sorry.
That was my lowest month ever in business, ever. And it was because, I was not dealing with things. I was going through a phase. And so don't you know, whatever you produce this month is more than likely based on what you did 2 to 3 months ago. Because the work that you do 2 to 3 months, like the work you're doing now, you're going to see massively manifest in October, November, December, January. Okay. And so April was a manifestation of January, February of what I was going through. And so at the end of April, I prayed to the Lord and I said, God, I need you to help me. I had paid over $70,000+ in debt, which means that instead of having money to put towards things, I was paying off things in the past. And so I was operating off of less cash flow. In addition to that, I was paying all my bills. In addition to that, I still had over $70,000 in credit card debt left. And this was end of April. And so in addition to that, this house that I lived in, it needed fresh coat of paint. It needed a whole bunch of things. I have another property in Jamaica. It needed renovation, all of that. And so it was just a lot. it was just a lot. My daughter was acting up. I was dealing with a lot with her dad. It was just a lot. It was just everything was pulling me in every direction. And I didn't know what way to go. And I said, God, I need you to help me. And God said two things. What do you have in your house? And finish what you started. Those two things, to this day, I am still getting results from. What do you have in your house? I remember one of the answers to that was, one, I have over 15 rooms, right? Which means that here I am sitting on money, right? I needed to get things up and running so that I could get back my passive incomes from them, right? Then God said to me, take one of my property that was more long-term rental. That's where I wanted to do it. I was getting frustrated, wondering why it wasn't working out. God says, no, I want you to put it on the short-term rental market. I'm going to guide you through that. I said, okay, no problem. Totally word. Don't worry. Once I see the word, I'll respond. Don't worry. So then right away, I started answering that. The next thing he said is, finish what you started. There's a book called Finish What You Start by Peter Hollins. And that book, I literally bought it. And then I said to myself, I'm a performance coach. I know how to write programs. Just like a fitness coach knows how to write programs, I know how to write mental, emotional, and financial programs. That's what I do for a living. So I wrote myself a program, a simple program. How was I going to finish, get clarity, move out of anxiety, come out of depression, go into consistency, manage my time, delegate, all of that, and make more money? Well, guess what? I said, you know what? The woman in the Bible, when she was in a place where she owed the debt collectors, the man of God said to her, what do you have in your house? I went back, I studied the scripture one more time, and guess what he said to her? Collect oil. Go around to your neighbor and bring all the empty vessels and collect oil. Well, that's what I did. I went online and I said, I'm about to do this challenge for myself. Does anybody want to join me? And right away that week, I got about 60 people willing to join. Boom, that was it. I went ahead, I sent out the challenge. I didn't even have the workbooks at the time. And I was building it as I went. That's the kind of person I am. I don't wait for things to be finished. I don't wait for them to be pretty. I don't wait to figure it out. I build it and I jump out the plane and I built the parachute, okay? And right away, people started joining me and I started going live on Clubhouse. And I would read the book the day I broke up the chapters, where you read a chapter a day over 8 days. And then I would go live for 11 days. And then in addition to that, I gave you a workbook. So in the challenge, you have 14 workbooks that are targeting different areas. In the challenge, you have 11 recorded coaching calls that are about an hour to hour and a half long. In the challenge, you have the 8 chapters of the book. You don't even have to buy the book if you don't want to. I've given you the link to the 8 chapters. In the challenge, you get an email every single day for 14 days where I'm talking to you. I'm encouraging you. I'm reminding you what we studied the day before. I'm reminding you what you got out the day before. I'm asking you where you want to go. I'm pushing you along. I'm pulling you along. You got to get to a place where nobody needs to push or pull you anymore. It needs to be so painful for you right now. I was listening to Venus yesterday, and she said, discipline is the price you pay. A lot of you have lacked discipline, including myself up to that point. I'd fallen out of discipline. I'd fallen into comfort, because you can't be disciplined and depressed. You can't be disciplined and dedicated. Discipline, when you lack discipline, you're going to be comfortable. When you lack discipline, you're going to be inconsistent. When you lack discipline, you're not going to get results. She said, when you have discipline, you are going to find that you're paying the price. And guess what? When you pay the price, you can have whatever you want. And T.I. has a song that says, you can have whatever you like. Honey, let me tell you something. I believe that God has called for us to have whatever we like. But for a lot of us, we don't have discipline to say, I'm going to start this offer that I want to create and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to research this product that I want to sell and I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish this book that I want to write and I'm going to publish it. I'm going to join this organization and I'm going to grow. I'm going to start this coaching program and I'm going to make sure that I show up every single day. What is required? Some of you are quitting. I just listened to a clip, and this is something I've known for years. Usain Bolt says he trained for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. He trained for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. Some of you are giving up after 2 months. Some of you are giving up after 2 months. I want you to know that last week, Monday, I hired a team of people, and I literally started working with them. Today makes 1 week to the exact date. And I'm paying them multiple 4 figures, right? multiple four figures to do things for me. Guess what? That's not going to make me immediately. No, I got to go get the money. They're the staff, right? And so the thing is, my commitment to do the work, my dedication to do the work, my discipline to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and do whatever is required so that I can get the results. You got to be dedicated and disciplined. So let me go back to what you get when you join this challenge, because this challenge is not going to be free for long. And you cannot say we didn't help you. Once I tag on this thing to, I'd put a Facebook ad or Instagram ad to this thing and send it, I'm gonna charge for it. You want to know why? People don't sometimes take seriously what they don't pay for. Whatever you don't pay for, sometimes you take it for granted. We often take for granted the things that we don't pay for. So in the challenge, you're learning to manage your time and your resources. How do you manage your time? You're learning to acquire techniques to overcome procrastination so you can stay focused. A lot of you are procrastinators. A lot of us have become procrastinators. DM the word combat. You got to follow instructions, guys. If we fail to follow instructions, we're not going to get the results. I'm not going to see the comments once they come down. And I want you to get this thing, so please follow the instruction in DM. Develop self-discipline to remain committed to the task. I want you to know something. Self-discipline doesn't come immediately. So one of the things you're going to have to do is develop habits, develop rules, develop regulation. I will not watch TV until I've read 2 pages. I will not talk to anybody until I've made 6 sales calls. I will not connect with anybody until I've spoken to 10 people about my business. I will not go out for brunch until I've saved $150. Give yourself rules, right? Atomic Habits teaches you how to do that, okay? But give yourself rules, give yourself things, right? Please read the pinned comment. We are DMing the word come back, not commenting. Next thing is harness the power of accountability to stay on track. A lot of us need accountability. First, to be accountable to ourselves. Be accountable to ourselves. If your child was to come home tomorrow and say, I know God is calling me to do this, Mom. I know God is calling me to do this, Dad, but I'm a quit because it's difficult. What would you say to your child? You would hold your child accountable. You are better than this. You're more powerful than this. You're called for this. Don't you trust God? Don't you believe God? Right? And so that's what you would do. But why don't you do the same thing for yourself? We got to do the same thing for ourselves. Our children are watching us. Our nieces and nephews are watching us. And we are the example of what's possible. We're the example of how far we can push and what we can accomplish. I want you to know that for many of our family, we are it. We're as close as they're ever going to get to see what success looks like. We are it. For many of our family, we are it. We are the light out of a dark place. So you do not want to give up, okay? So harness the power of accountability. Maybe you need to join a community. That's why we have a community. When you join the challenge, you will join the community of a couple hundred others, okay? The next thing is acquire a growth mindset to better handle setbacks and failure. I want you to know that there are 2 types of mindset, fixed mindset and growth mindset, right? And so a lot of the times it is not your fault. Some of us, we're born with a generational DNA, right? Generational blueprint to have a fixed mindset. I have a daughter. She's one of the most brilliant person I've ever met in life, period. She's 15 years old. And she has a fixed mindset from she was a child. She has not had a growth mindset. She was born with that thing. If something is easy, she loves it. If something is too difficult, she don't want to do it. She doesn't like anything that is difficult, right? Because she believes she's smart, and anything that says otherwise, she runs away from it. She knows that she's powerful, and anything that makes her feel any form of weakness, she does not identify with it. And that is a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset means that you are in a place where if you don't get the results of celebration, validation, recognition, promotion, pay that you want immediately, you believe that you're failing, and so you'll quit. I want you to know that champions are not born in good seasons. They're not born because something was easy. You're more likely to learn from the things that you failed at and the things that you struggle in than you are to learn from things that you do easily. If you already are naturally at something, more than likely you're not going to learn. Okay. For instance, Joy and I are reading a book called, what is that called again, Joy? It just blanked me.
Relentless.
Yes, Relentless. How to go from good to great, and beyond, right? And so the performance coach in that book was a performance coach for Jordan and for Kobe Bryant. And let me tell you something. A performance coach, and this is where I went wrong all along my career. Performance coach don't coach everybody. They coach the people who are genuinely going for the next level in life. They coach the people who are committed to only winning. And so when he said he coached Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, among others, he said these people, it wasn't that they weren't already good. They were looking for the small areas that they struggled in. For instance, Kobe Bryant, y'all know Kobe Bryant had that one finger that looked like an alien that was bent in every direction but the direction it should go, right? Everybody know that Kobe Bryant had issue with his foot, right? Everybody know that Michael Jordan had issue with his leg. People know that Scottie Pippen had his own issues, right? And so he said what he did was when they came out of maybe like an injury, what he would do is build them back to the place where they were better than before they were injured. They were better than before they were injured. A lot of you've gone through something. Maybe it wasn't an injury, but it was an injury to your confidence. It was an injury to your self-belief. It was an injury to your self-worth. It was an injury to your your value or your perception of who you are or your perception of your capacity. And so you have to be willing and committed to go back to work to really improve yourself beyond the point of where you started, beyond the point of what was good. You got to redefine what was good. You can't keep sitting down talking about, I remember when, because
Right.
the Bible says that your greater days are your latter days. So I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but based on the Bible, if your best days are behind you, you are about to be miserable. The things that you can remember are the cars you used to drive and the house you used to live in and the job you used to have and the person you used to be married to and the friends you used to have and the trips you used to go on. The rest of your days are going to be miserable because your best days are ahead of you. So how can you re-perform, recreate, redesign yourself in a way that the results that you produce in your latter years are greater than your formative years? So with that said, oh, and we also talk about celebrating your achievement and plan for the future. So by the time you yeah, forget the former things. Thank you, Gordon. By the time you are finished with this challenge, you shouldn't just finish the challenge. You should have an idea of what your next is.
Correct.
You should have an idea. So if you're doing this challenge, for instance, now I wouldn't suggest you do this like the way I did, right? But I can tell you that since doing this challenge, I've gone from 179 to 151 as of last week, Wednesday. I know I'm less now, but as of last week, Wednesday, okay? 179. So that's from May, and now we're in September. 179, right? That's where I was at the top of the end of the first quarter, and that's where I was at the beginning of May, and now I'm 151 pounds, okay? I'm leaner, right? I've changed the way I eat. I changed the way I thought. I've changed my team, okay? I changed the way I work out. I changed the way I sleep. I changed what I read. The things that I would normally read at this time of the year, I'm not reading those. Because for me to do the things I've never done, I got to become the woman I've never been. For me to go to places I've never seen, I got to be able to see where the giants are. Where do the giants live? Where is the impossible? Where is the unattainable? Where is the inconceivable? That's where I'm training to go. That's where God is bringing me to, okay? And so even with Joy, like there's been a conference that I've been wanting to go. Joy don't know this, but I've been wanting to go to this conference forever. And I remember one year when I saw it, my son was just diagnosed, not gonna happen. The following year I saw it. You know, I just, well, I didn't want to just, I'm a person I can travel alone, but I was like, maybe now is not the year. And then every year it's always been something for the last 5 years. This year, I just made a decision. I'm going. And I reached out to Joy and I was like, you know what? this is in the same place where she lives. Let's see if she would be committed to go with me. And lo and behold, Joy is the type of person, she's like, well, we going to be challenged. It's going to be difficult. You mean we're going to go higher? It's going to make us better? Girl, I'm in. It don't matter. She didn't even ask me what it cost. She never even asked me what it cost. She just asked me, you know, what is it about? When is it? Okay, I'm in. And then she went and figured out her babysitter. I told Joy, to this day, I don't even know who's going to babysit my kids. It is now September 12th, Joy, and I'm coming there, you know, the 27th, the 30th. I still don't know. I've never known what childcare is going to look like. I say yes if God puts it on my plate, and God always pays my bill, and he always takes care of my needs, right? So with that said, I'm going to pause for now and give it over to Joy.
Another thing, as we're doing this challenge, what is it that you want to become? You know, a lot of times we talk about what we don't want, but we don't talk about what we do want, right? So put on your whatever it is that you want to become. Like, I want to be, I don't know, if you want to be healthier, you want to lose some weight, you want to be a better businesswoman, you want to be a better mom, you want to have a better spirit of discernment, you want to, whatever it is that you want. Like, a lot of times we don't even think about what we want. We get so caught up in what's going on and what we don't want that we never spend time to focus on what we want. If you ever go on to YouTube and listen to any of Steve Harvey's motivational messages, which are thebomb.com, he always challenges you to think bigger and better. So whatever it is that you are wanting, that's where we start, right? And then once you figure out what you want, now we have to kind of work backwards. Well, what would it take to become this? And really sit down and be like, okay, well, if I want to be, you know, a CEO of a 7-figure business, what does that look like? Well, they probably have a schedule. They probably have systems in their business. They probably have some kind of, you know, staff and employees. They probably, you know, like, write down all the things. If I want to be a better mom, well, what is a better mom? What are you wanting to do? I want to spend more time. I want to, you know, cook better. I want to maybe have, I don't know, a certain day. So if I want to be a better mom in the sense of spending more time with my child, well, what can I do in my schedule that would allow me, you know, to spend more time? A lot of times we say, I want to lose 10 pounds. Well, but we don't map out how we're going to do this. I want to get this promotion, but we don't map out the baby steps of what it's going to take to get it. So think about what you want to be and then map out those steps, right? My biggest thing getting out of this, I'm going to be getting out of what I'm getting out. I don't know what to call it. But I was like, I don't want to be bitter. Like, I don't want to be bitter. I don't want to be resentful, because see, all those are negative, right? What I don't want. But I said, what I do want is I want to be able to, you know, be in a healthy relationship and not bring all of the baggage from what I'm leaving, right? I don't want to put all of the, well, let me look for all this and let me look for that, because I don't want to do all that, right? I want to meet my forever person. Well, what does my forever person look like? He's grown, right? Grown, you know, his money is together. Preferably kids are already grown or, you know, almost out the house. Well, what would this kind of person want? Oh, well, I need to be fit. I need to have my money together. I need to have my credit together. I need to have some kind of system, you know what I'm saying, for me and my child. I need to have a bed. So I'm mapping out all of, if I want this, well, what would that person want? So now I'm trying to work on becoming all what I feel like I need to be to attract this person. See, a lot of times you got to work on becoming what you want to get what you want, because when you are working on becoming that person, that's when you're going to run into that person that's going to help you. If I want to have a 7-figure business, well, I need to know the ins and out of my business. I need to be at conferences. I need to be reading industry books. I need to be, understanding how do I really run a business? I love you. How do I have I need to be working on that. And as you're working on that, as you're going to the industry conference, the business conferences, you're going to run into another person who could be your mentor, or another person who's like, hey, if that's what you're doing, girl, I did that 5 years ago. Let me tell you 3 things not to do. And just go on ahead and find you like a little business bestie, because, iron sharpens iron. But if you aren't in the process of becoming that person, if we're not, looking for these things and, trying to change small aspects of our life to become that person, you're not going to attract what it is that you need. And then when you don't attract what it is that you're wanting or that you need, you are still in that same spot. So you got to first become what it is that you want, or be working on becoming on what it is that you want. Stop talking about what you don't want, right? When you go to a restaurant, you don't say, well, don't give me the steak and don't give me the salad and don't give me the soup. You just tell them what it is that you do want. So throughout your day, speak of what things that you do want. I want to have a happy day. I want to be able to knock out 3 things on my to-do list. I want to, be able to work like, God, show me what I need to do to work on blah, blah, blah. There are YouTube videos, there are books, there are performance coaches like Natalie, there are conferences, there are so many things that you have to, that will give you access to what it needs, but you got to move, you got to get up, you got to do it. When Natalie said a conference on X, Y, and Z, that's exactly that's a way to fine tune, what I'm saying, what I'm doing in my business. If I keep doing the same thing that I did 3 years ago, I'm gonna be out of business, right? So it doesn't matter the cost, because you have to, it costs something to get to what you want. I can't go to med school and think I'm about to be a doctor for free, right? So whatever the cost is, I'm going to pay it, because the information I'm going to learn is going to be more than what I'm paying. So when you're looking at the money, like, well, how much is it? You got to put yourself in the mindset, I don't care what it is, I'm going to do it. So if that means I'm eating ramen, for this next month, if that means these nails are coming off, if that means I may not have my lash for a month to get the information that I need. So in this season, I may not be living how I want, but I'm setting myself up to be 10 steps ahead in the next season. I will do that all day, every day. If I said, everyone is live right now, if you give me $5,000, cash at me $5,000, and I guarantee you by the end of 2023, you will add another 0 or 2 zeros to your bottom line, how many people will do it? But that's because I'm giving you a guarantee. See, in life, there is no guarantee. You got to sow the seed. You got to sow the seed. You got to sow the seed. You got to do without, you got to sacrifice. In return, you will get this. But it's a principle of sowing and reaping. Whatever you sow, you will reap. That is a principle. You may not know when the harvest is going to come, but it's coming. So while we are almost halfway through our challenge, we are coming up on the 4th quarter of 2023. And in the business world, we are running into, if your business is dealing with anything that deals with holiday sales or the end of the year, I don't know what your industry is, this is going to be a big time to have our stuff together. But I don't care who you are, when you make that corner to 2024, that is running into the money season, okay? There are so many things in February, March, April, May, June, where our business needs to be already together. It means I already have the systems in play, already have the inventory ordered. It's just sitting at your warehouse or in your garage, so that you can maximize those money months, right? So take some time to join the challenge. DM Natalie, not me, DM Natalie, come back. Catch up on the first 12 days. Finish the challenge challenge off so that you can go into the fourth quarter slanging and banging, right? We are ready. The challenge is free, okay? There's no gimmick. When you DM Natalie, she's not going to upsell you to the $10,000 course. This is just free, right? We just decided just to do a challenge, just to help other people that are, are our followers, because when you get to a certain place in life, it is your duty to help others, because you didn't get there on your own. You didn't just, wake up one day and fall into success. Nothing just happens by happenstance. And so I'm a firm believer of, helping each one teach one, helping other people. So the challenge is very organized. Every day you are going to get a drip, an email from Natalie of a workbook. It's not just, come on in, we're going to freestyle. It's very organized because it's Natalie, right? And it's going to be a workbook. There's a WhatsApp chat. If you like to communicate and, talk to other people and be in a community, we got all that for you. But really taking out September to zone in on what your goals are, what it is that you want, what it is that you need to change in yourself to become the person that's going to be able to handle all of what you are asking for, so that we're ending 2023 with a bang. We're not worried about, I'm going to start over in 2024 and all these New Year's resolutions. We still in 2023. So whatever you did not accomplish in 2023, whatever you kind of, just let slide, we are going to go back and go ahead and pick that up and knock out some of those goals in October, November, and December. Okay, so we are going to read Esther. Let me get my Bible out. And I will turn it back over to you, Natalie.
That was good, as always. He still don't get that right. Sorry, I was checking on some work from team. Wow, I was sending off something. No, you know what, Joy? I want to say this before we read the Bible. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, but I've been in this country now I came here 2017, so 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 6 years. 6 years ago, I came here. I had a 460 something credit score. I lived in a room in my mom's house. I had a B12 visa, which means that I didn't even have an ability to have a job here, right? I didn't even have an ability to have a driver's license for more than 90 days, okay? And literally from having 4 kids, 4 bags, sleeping in one room up in the mountains of Asheville to where I'm at today, which is multi 7 figures in net worth, is, well, first of all the glory to God, right? But the truth is, the glory to God is over all of our lives. Let's be honest. God, we can only be glory carriers when we are literally diligent and dedicated to do what God has called us to do. I've seen so many people who were way ahead of me. And I'm not saying in the natural, but overall, many of you in 2017 would have been ahead of me. One, even if you didn't have a place to live, you're American, you're ahead of me. I didn't even have legal paperwork to work here, right? 2, you maybe had a driver's license, you're ahead of me. You can get a job. You can drive to your job. 3, you had proper health. When I got here, I was sick. Then my son was diagnosed not even a year later, right? You are way ahead of me, right? The next thing that I did was I literally the same thing, finish what you started. I did a similar programming and, with the grace of God, was able to change my status from being a B12 to being an exceptional talent. I knew I could be an exceptional talent. And that's not something that is equal, that most people have access to. But that's the equalizer for me and you guys, because I'm not American. So that gave me the opportunity to have American paperwork because I used to work on Wall Street. That gave me the opportunity to equalize, to come back. That's what God does. He will give you an equalizer, an opportunity. And that's what we're going to see in chapter 5, 6, and 7, is God is going to take what the enemy meant for evil, and he's going to give you an opportunity that takes you from the back and puts you ahead of the line. And so many of you, there's a guy called Alex Hormonzi. And, Alex was homeless in Baltimore. It's a white dude. He lived at his girlfriend's mama's house, right? And most black folks wouldn't, first of all, you wouldn't even date the dude, right? Let alone let him live at your mama's house. He's now worth over $400 million. Okay? And we can say white privilege. We can say, oh, he's white male. He's also gone on to write one book 19 times before publishing the same book. How many of you would be willing to fail 19 times to get one good result? He went on to say that at first he didn't have money, but he had time. So he took all his time, right? And he took all his time and made money. And then he took all his money and bought back time. The reason I'm saying this is you don't need a Bible verse to remind you that some of the lifestyle that you're manifesting is a lack of basic common sense. We're not even talking about wisdom anymore. If I keep seeing the same results over and over, I don't serve a cruel God. I don't serve an evil God. I don't serve a wicked God. I don't serve a God who favors this person and not favors me. He says the rain rains on the just and the unjust. Why is it that she's selling real estate and I can't even get someone to book an appointment with me? Could I go understudy? Could I go learn? The thing with our generation, the thing with our people, the thing with our race, I'm going to be generic and general, is that we are competitive for the wrong reason. And the reason we should be competitive, we're not competitive. We're competitive because we don't want people to know we don't know. We don't want people to know we don't have it together. I don't want people to know that the girl who built a network of such and such come May was still in debt by $70,000 and missed a couple of payments. And so her credit score that she had built to over 700 was dinged back low again. Guess what? I needed somebody to know because I needed to figure out the way I did it the last time was going to be too long. I needed a quick way to do it this time. And guess what? From the month of May to the month of September, my score is well over 700 again. And it got dinged real bad, real bad. I paid off another $70,000+ over a couple. You can learn something. Yeah. The free things that we're going to give you will help, but there's some things that you got to pay for. Joy makes some videos giving you a lot of free things. We go live giving you a lot of free things. But I want you to know that the price that you pay will make the difference in the experiences that you have. The thing that I see with the white people is that, one, they research who to pay and then they invest. And the thing that I see with our community is we're looking at people who are flashing cars and flashing watches and flashing houses that they don't own. We don't do any research. They take our money and then we don't get any results. And then we're mad and then we give up. Oh, it's a scam. It don't work. Everybody is not a scammer. Everything is not a scam, and things do work. Okay? So I just wanted to put that out there because the truth is God is looking to give you a significant advantage in the season, but you have to be prepared to use it. You can't say, well, I got kids, I can't travel. Somebody else is willing to take it. Y'all remember chapter 4 yesterday? Mordecai said to Esther, and I'm going to reread it. Mordecai said to Esther, I'm going to read from chapter 4, verse 15. Then Esther sent the reply to Mordecai. So gather, let me go. Starting at verse 12. When Esther's words were reported to Mordecai, he sent back his answer. Do not think that because you are in the king's house, you are alone and all the Jews will escape. Do not think that because you can pay your bills in this season, that you will be able to stay in comfort zone. Do not think that because you still have the rinky-dink job that covers your car payment and your rent payment, that you get to settle there. God is calling you higher. God is calling you higher. And if God is calling you higher and you are not going higher, he will punish you. I've seen it happen. He's calling you to lead, but you're afraid that people are going to talk about you. Oh, well. Oh, well. People are going to talk about you when you're broke. They're going to talk about you when you're rich. They're going to talk about you when you're wise. They're going to talk about you when you're stupid. People are going to talk. The worst part is when they don't even know you exist. People will talk about you. He said to her, for if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place. Relief is going to come to your household, to your bloodline from another place. If God got to skip over you to deliver a community, he will. Don't let God replace you. Don't become the Vashti of your generation. Don't become the Vashti of your industry, where God swaps you out for another Esther because you will not do what he's calling you to do. Wear your crown and step into your position. Don't let somebody else dethrone you because you weren't willing to be used. Don't let someone else dethrone you because you didn't know that this was your season. Don't let, because your start looks messy, because your start looks everybody is seeing you start. Everybody is seeing you go through. Guess what? That's just one season. They talk about you this season, but next season, I promise you, they're going to come to you and ask you how you did it. They're going to pay you for your course, for you to teach them how to get out. Because a lot of them, most of the time, the people who find the time to talk, you'll never find somebody successful speaking about somebody who's going through. You'll very rarely find someone who is extremely successful. And I'm talking about success. Because some people, they seem like they're having success, but they're miserable. They're not successful, right? You'll never find someone successful gossiping about somebody who's going through a hard time. You want to know why? Because they are focused. So when you are going through and somebody else is talking, it's because they are also going through pain. What do you call it? Misery loves company. And so when they see you are miserable, a lot of time people are so insecure, they don't want people to see how miserable they are. So they think if they point towards you, that it will take the attention away from them and put it towards you. It will take the attention away from the fact that their partner is cheating on them, that they just lost, that they are broken. All right. So we're going into Esther chapter 5. It's a short chapter. We're going to read the whole thing. On the third day, and I said I'm not going to stay on here long. I lied to myself. We're coming off in 30 minutes. I promise you, because my time is worth money, child. Esther's request to the king. On the third day, Esther put her royal robes and stood in the inner courts. Yo, listen. She put that lipstick on, that outfit.
Come on.
That scent. She came through and she was like, listen, if I'm going to die looking good, right? You're going to give me this here scepter today. So on the third day, Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the palace, in the front of the king's hall. The king was sitting in his royal throne in the hall, facing the entrance. When he saw Queen Esther standing in the court, he was pleased, my God, with her, and held out his golden scepter. You know she had to look good. And with the favor of God, he held out the golden scepter, it said. Where am I? That was in his hand. So Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. Then the king asked, what is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? Even upon half the kingdom, my God, she must have looked good. It will be given to you. If it pleases the king, this is wisdom. If it pleases the king, replied Esther, let the king, together with Haman, come today to a banquet I have prepared for him. Bring Haman at once. The king said, so that we may do what Esther asked. My God. So the king and Haman went to the banquet, and Esther had prepared. As they were drinking wine, the king again asked Esther, now what is your petition? It will be given to you. And what is your request? Even half, up to half the kingdom, it will be granted. Esther replied, my petition and my request is this. If the king regards me with favor, and if it pleases the king to grant me my petition and fulfill my request, let the king and Haman come together to a banquet I will prepare for them. Then I will answer the king's request. Haman's rage against Mordecai. Verse 9, Haman went out that day and happy in the high spirits. But when he saw Mordecai in the king's gate and observed what that he neither rose nor showed fear in his presence, he was fulfilled with rage. Again, Mordecai, nevertheless, against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman restrained himself and went home, calling together his friends, Zeresh, his wife. Haman boasted to them about his vast wealth, his many sons, and all the ways the king had honored him, and how he was elevated. He had elevated him above all the other nobles and officials. And that's not all, Haman added. I'm the only person Queen Esther invited to accompany the king to the banquet she gave. And she has invited me along with the king tomorrow. But all this gives me no satisfaction as long as that Jew Mordecai is sitting at the king's gate. His wife Zeresh and all his friends said to him, have a pole set up, reaching to a height of 50 cubits, and ask the king in the morning to have Mordecai impaled on it. Then go with the king to the banquet and enjoy yourself. This suggestion delighted Haman, and he had the pole set up. Hearing the word of the Lord, thanks be to God. So we just read chapter 5 in the book of Esther, and I want to tell you that first things first, honey. A lot of persons, a lot of my clients that come to me who are women, they can tell you that if they're married and they have any issue at all with their marriage is better when I'm done with them. First book I recommend to every single one of my clients is the book of Esther and the chapter number 5 and 6. The book of Esther, chapter number 5 and 6. Why? Because a lot of times women are trying to fight with their husband when all they got to do is go into their soft era. We saw Esther go into not just fasting in chapter 4, but out of fasting, she came out in wisdom, and homegirl was in her soft, sis was in her soft era. Queen Esther, this is what soft era looks like, okay? She went, and it said that she came out in her royal robes. Well, what the heck was she wearing all them other times? Okay, it meant that she wore the best of the best. It meant that she knew his favorite scents, and she wasn't just dressed, she was dripping. Okay, it meant that when she went there, the scent that she carried was that of God, right? Because she was also fasting. So it wasn't just a natural strategy of what I look like and what I smell like. Okay, it was also a supernatural strategy because the day before and the day before that and the day before that, she and all the Jews had been in fasting, which meant that her spirit was heightened. When we talk about the favor of Esther and the anointing of Esther, it is not just in chapter 2 where we saw Haggai favoring her and making her above all the other virgins. It's not just in chapter 3 where we saw her being exalted and the king putting on this show for her. It's also in chapter 6 and chapter 5 where we see this woman of God moving with her feminine softness. It is not about, going in and said, honey, you said, what do I want? Let me tell you what I want. It's understanding that sometimes you got to season that meat a little longer. I know the oxtail will be seasoned in 8 hours, but if I season the oxtail and I put it in the freezer for about a week, when I take it out, all the seasoning is going to be in the bones. And even the bones, you're going to have to find yourself sucking on them bones. What she did was she knew that, yes, I had his favor from these 3 days of fasting, but if I was able to play to his human nature, some things are spiritual, but some things you got to realize that some people are carnal. You got to treat the flesh the way the flesh needs to be treated. If this man is a narcissist, you got to edify the narcissist. You got to make sure this man cannot be made to look like a fool. This man just raised up Haman to second in command under him. If she had spoken against Haman, the king would have looked like a fool. If she would have said, this man that you put in position is coming after me, she would have may as well have been speaking against the king because it was his opinion. She's doing what the others done, but she's doing it with a feminine approach. She's not saying if it pleases the king only. She's saying if it pleases the king, and then she's pleasing his eyes, and then she's pleasing his ears, and then she's catering to him. I remember Beyonce Knowles, Kelly Rowland, and Michelle did a song, "Let Me Cater to You." And when that song came out, a lot of men, I remember they even brought some of the top Black men on stage once, and they literally finessed their way with these men. And I mean, like, every Black man on earth wish they were sitting in one of those chairs, honey, married or single, because all of these men were in a relationship. They knew that these girls didn't want them. It was the ladies were showing how do we cater to?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's take it from a romantic gesture. A lot of you are in jobs where you have a boss that you have found favor with because you went into fasting. And the minute you get a meeting with them, you cannot lay it on thick. You know, that person you promoted as manager, they're wreaking havoc. No, you got to cater to the manager and you got to cater to the boss. Because when you are done, they must be disarmed. They must not see what is coming. That's why when people favor you, that's when people start edifying you, you got to still go back to God, because you want to know what spirit is behind the edification. Not everybody who's saying, Lord, Lord, is really for God. Not everybody who said Jesus, Jesus was really loving Jesus or celebrating Jesus. And not everybody who is there cheering for you, following you, clapping for you. Not everybody who is following you or clapping is for you. You have some people, they're just natural clappers. If you're being beheaded tomorrow, they would still clap. If you got a car today, they would clap. They're not necessarily clapping for you. They just want to clap for something. And you just gave them a reason to clap. So you got to get to a place where you have wisdom. Not everybody is your friend. The next thing we see is this man called Haman being so foolish. He is so focused on what he sees with his eyes and what he is experiencing in the form of edification, in the form of validation, that he is missing what is behind the gesture. Why is it that the queen is doing this thing? But that's what happened when you're a carnal person and you don't have a relationship with God. Who are you going to ask? Right? He's so busy plotting, right? And this is the second time where we see that boasting is going to bring you to a fail. Because the first one was chapter 1, where we saw the king boasting and we saw failure came out of that. Now we see him boasting to his family, his wife and his friends, and we're going to eventually see failure comes from it. Be careful how you boast. Be careful what you boast about, and be careful who you boast to. And again, we're seeing another thing where he's being advised by his wife and by his friends, who are telling him to build this place for him to kill Mordecai on. We will see in the next chapter what will happen. I'm not going to tell you. Y'all going to have to stick around and go read it for yourself. But we'll see. Rexy's trying to kiss you so bad, y'all.
Girl.
Yeah. We'll see that sometimes what you see with your eyes is no indication of what's really going on in the spiritual realm. I want you guys to always keep in mind that in the natural, whatever you're seeing, in the spirit, there's something else there as well. And so you have to ask God, open the eyes of my understanding so I can see that which is and that which is behind it. Over to you, Joy.
Another thing that we can take from chapter 5 is wisdom, right? Wisdom is knowing what to say when and then what not to say. So he's already telling her, like, baby, whatever you want, even if it's half the kingdom, I got you. A lot of us we are so focused on getting what we're wanting, or getting our point of view out, or, we're so focused on what we need and how we want to get it now, that sometimes we're not able to assess the time and the place. Sometimes it's not what you said, it's either how you said it, or it's the wrong timing, right? So if you're wanting something, I don't know, if you want to talk about in the relationship era, if you want to discuss something with your boo, right? But when your boo comes home, they had a bad day at work, they tired, but you like, well, I don't care because I got to get this off my chest. Well, baby, right now may not be the time. Maybe we need to wait another day, another week. Wait until the person's in a place to hear you. The second you get that promotion at your job, you now have 10 things that you see that the job is lacking in, and y'all need to do this. Well, you just got the promotion, right? Why don't you take some time, assess your audience? Everyone who smiles in your face isn't your friend. And, who are the people who are really making the decisions? A lot of times the person that has the title is not really the person making the decision. So you need to kind of take your time to assess, what is my circle? If do I even need to say all this now, or do I need to wait? in business, especially when I was starting, I never called myself the owner. Every business I started, I had a tax office, I had hair salons, I had a hair boutique. I believe I would always wear whatever, either like business casual, or I would be like in a branded polo. I would look like an employee, and I would always have I would always call myself the manager. Well, why? One, everyone doesn't need to know that you own it. You can a lot of times get a lot of wisdom if a person's thinking that they're talking to an employee and not the owner. So how, are you the man? Are you the owner? I'm the manager. I didn't say I'm not the owner. I'm the manager. A lot of times people will speak more freely. Oh, well, let me tell you something. That Styles over there, she was boom, 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 boom. Where if I said I was the owner, a person may not talk as freely as they wanted to, because they don't want to offend me as being the owner, right? Or vice versa. Sometimes you got to know your strength. Sometimes you got to be able to assess, I am too strong for this situation, or I am too strong for this environment. My strength will intimidate these people. You don't want to intimidate people, right? Meaning, if you are in a business setting and you feel like you are too strong, you don't want to. I'm trying to negotiate. I'm trying to get what I need to get. So if I know me coming in saying, yes, I'm the CEO, and yes, I'm also a business attorney, I'm going to make this person feel real small, right? So part of having wisdom is knowing when to speak, when not to speak, but how to speak. So a lot of times in my meetings, especially, people people don't think sometimes that a person that looks like you will have what you have, right? Or will have all of the experience or all of the degrees behind your name. It's not everyone's business. So when I'm coming to a meeting, and especially if I'm dealing with a man, no shame, but a lot of men don't want to hear a woman who has all these degrees and can come in and, oh, let me break it down in 5 seconds. Hey, how you guys doing? Making yourself soft, making yourself not seem as smart. I don't have to walk in like I'm walking into court. I'm just walking in. They don't know me. I don't know them. They don't know all what's behind my name, right? If I'm trying to get something, let me get what I'm trying to get. So you have to know, how can these two people mesh? In other situations, they may be looking for strength. They may be wanting someone who's boom, 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 boom. So when you come in, you're coming in boom, 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 boom. But you got to be able to know your room, know your audience, and know when to ask for what it is. And in this verse, we already know what Esther wants. Esther wants to go ahead and tell her husband, hey, y'all about to go kill these Jews. Don't kill them, right? He's saying, hey, tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. And she's like, no, girl, I done made you a dinner. I'm about to take you to Steak 48. We going to Roof Chris. I am going to, let me first shower you. Let me first cater to you. Let me first, really get you feeling good about yourself, because I would rather have a slow yes than a fast no. See, a lot of times we just want that answer. We just want that. Well, do you want the answer, or do you want your yes? Do you want the answer, or do you want your job to give you that promotion? Do you want the answer today, or would you rather wait 6 months and really, build this bond between another person, so that when your two businesses collab, they can now become an enterprise? Do you want your answer now, or do you really want what you really want? Because sometimes to get what you really want, you got to know how to play the game. See, life is a game. Either you're playing the game, you watching the game, or you on the bench. See, you got to know how to play the game. When you walk in that room, you got to be able to assess the room. If someone is dominant, we don't need to meet iron with iron, especially if you are a woman. And I am all about the feminine. I am all about power to the people, right? But I want what I want. So I don't want to offend. I don't want to intimidate. I don't want to challenge someone who thinks they're the smartest person in the room. I've been sitting in meetings before and they are thinking I am just there just to be there. They have no idea who I really am. I've been in rooms and because people think that my name is of Asian descent. My name is Joy Lynn, is JOI-Lin. Everyone thinks that I am Oriental until I walk in the room, right? And they're like, oh baby, she ain't Asian, she black. So I remember being in a meeting. This is back in a salon meeting. I'm in a meeting with a head up person with Paul Mitchell, Avita, and then it's me, right? Because we all have really big hair salons in the Houston area. Now nobody thinks that I even have a salon that's in a meeting with the people with Paul Mitchell and Avita, right? Can't be me. So they're just thinking I'm like the assistant. I never tell them who I am because one, it was never asked, and I am just speaking. I am just going along with the flow. We're in this meeting for a whole hour, right? Well, now it is my turn to speak on what's going on in the hair industry and what changes need to be made. Now it's my time, to talk. And I talk and I'm talking, and when they're listening to me, they're like, oh, well, who is this? Oh, that's you. See, sometimes you don't have to announce all your strengths. You don't have to walk in the room and tell all your accolades. You ain't got to tell everyone how great you are. You are just trying to get what it is that you need to get. So if you want to give it to me and you think that I'm the receptionist, baby, hey, I'll be the receptionist. If you want to give it to me and think I'm the monkey, hey, I'm a monkey. Whatever you want me to be, I'm a be. Because I don't have to lead with what it is or who I am. And Esther is not even in this whole chapter, she has still not told her husband what it is that she wants, because she knows I'm about to ask a big ask. They are already talking about making this rule. I'm about to ask something big. So I need to make sure that I get him exactly how I need to get him. So when I ask it, I would get my slow yes versus a fast no. So in life, whether you're dealing with, parenting skills, like what is that one thing that you can, threaten your child with the love of God, that to get them to do their homework, to get them to do their chores, how do you motivate your employees to be the best that they need to be? Walking in and just, y'all need to be on time and y'all need to be in dress code and this is not going to get you a great company culture environment, right? I always tie pay to performance. I'm always giving bonuses. I don't want to have a ceiling. Well, this will be your salary, but if you help sell every car you help sell, I'm gonna give you blah blah blah. So when a person rolls up, they are running out of the door to go greet them. They're handing them a bottle of water. They're going to pull out this umbrella and hold it over that hot Houston heat and give that customer VIP service. Why? Because they know, I get my check, right? But I can get more. I can now do something more I want to do for myself, because every car that I help sell, there's something tied to it. So whenever you want something in business, in life, in relationship, with whatever it is, you got to know, how do I paint myself in the most favorable light? What do I need to do to this person to get them to hear me and to understand me? And so sometimes it's not asking, sometimes it's not demanding, sometimes it's called playing the game. Right now, Esther's playing the game. She is making sure that I'm about to edify my husband. I'm about to give him what he wants, so that after he gets what he wants, now his ears are going to be open to even hear me. A lot of times we're asking for things and the person's ears are like this. And we are still asking, and we're asking, and they are like, they're not even hearing you. They're not even hearing you. So knowing how to get what you want, and I'm not saying manipulate and lie. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying you need to learn how to be able to finesse your way, so that when you ask for what you're asking, the person is actually even listening and can receive what it is that they're saying. So who's mad? Haman's mad. Haman's already mad. Haman's already trying to get Mordecai killed. Now I don't know what's going to happen. But because Esther is playing this game, I'm going to, make myself look good. Well, my husband should like me like this, baby. He don't. Okay, he don't. So you need to go on ahead and get yourself together so you look like the girl you look like when he met you. He liked that one. You didn't meet him, with this bonnet on your head. And so Esther came out, with her gear on, this hair laid, this face beat. She's gonna run and dine her boo, and then I'm assuming in chapter 6, she's gonna ask him what it is that she wants, and he's gonna say yes. But I don't know what's gonna happen in 6. But it's about wisdom, knowing what and how to say and when to say it.
Yeah, that's so good. That is so good. When I think about it too, is another side of it is people meet you and know what you can do, and they will, try to do something for you, but it's the intention of getting something immediately, right? And you can always tell how disingenuous people are, or people will meet you and they'll slide up in your DM and they have an ask of you and they have no relationship. There is no relationship. The ask is more one-sided. It's not benefiting both of y'all. It's not advancing both of y'all. It's not putting both of y'all in a different position. And a lot of people, I've seen this even when I used to be on Clubhouse. If someone saw you at a platform and they want access to the platform, they don't say, first of all, they come with ulterior motive. They act as though, some of them will act as though, oh, how can I serve you, right? But it's not genuine, because as soon as they start, you realize it wasn't that they wanted to serve you, it's that they wanted the access, right? Then the next thing is they'll say things like, how can I, they want to put you in a position to help you. Then come to find out they can't even help you. They need you more than you need them, right? And nothing is wrong with needing someone or and so on and so forth. But the problem is, like Joy said, you have no wisdom and you have no couth. You know that term our parents used to use. Someone is uncouth, meaning that you just the way you do it is just nasty. It's, you're like, the worst type, social climbers. Someone who will become your friend just so they can advance themselves. They wouldn't necessarily be your friend. They don't necessarily like you. They just like you because of who you're connected to, or what you're connected to, or what they think you can do for them. Right. But they don't necessarily genuinely like you. Like, if you were no longer in that position, they may not even care. And I think that's so weird. Like, you're too old for that. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people are going to find themselves super exposed because, again, as much as Esther wanted what she wanted, I think somewhere deep down, Esther also respected him. And you can respect someone and still know they're a fool. Right? Because all of us are married to a king and a fool, or a queen and a fool. Because inside of a man, Miles Monroe said it once, inside every man is a king and a clown. Who you speak to determines what you get, right? And so that's what we're seeing here with Esther. The way she's speaking to him, the way she's navigating him is determining what she gets. And we're seeing the obvious example is Haman. Inside Haman is a fool. And the way Esther is dealing with him, Esther knows that if she should go and take out this noble, it would legitimately cause issue in the land, because the king put him in that position. So not only would it cause an issue with the king, people would no longer feel safe around the king. Like, how are you going to bring somebody up to only execute them? We can't trust you. Right. We can't trust you. So she wasn't just being wise in that I want something, but she was thinking all the thoughts. I believe God was giving her a full 360 of, you know what? Not only do we not want to go and take the bishop, we don't want to just go out and take the king. We want them to feel as though we didn't see them. We missed the play. We want them to feel as though we missed this play, that this play wasn't in front of us, that we couldn't have just taken them out. It's kind of like in the book of Samuel, when King David, well, he wasn't king at the time, but David was running from Saul because Saul was so angry and frustrated that David was being worshipped higher than him. And one day David was hiding in a cave, and Saul came in the cave, and David literally could have killed Saul. And David didn't kill him. He took a piece of his garment because he needed to prove to him, your hand was in my life. But David said something that was wisdom. He said, touch not God's anointed and do his prophet no harm. You want to know why? If you want a kingdom that you're going to one day take the seat, if you took the last king out, then guess what? Somebody's going to take you out. You created a precedence that there's no trust. You created a precedence that no one is untouchable. You created a precedence that there's no level of legacy or no level of authority in the throne room. She needed to make sure that she could deal with Haman in a way that would take him out, but then leave the authority still with her king, right? Not make her king look bad, not make him look stupid. This dog is finding everything to bring over here, y'all. Yeah, so with that said, any final thought before we pray out?
No, just ask also God for discernment, the power of discernment. People will come into your life with the intention of hurting you, but it's going to be wrapped in roses and unicorns, and I want to be your friend, or I want to help you in this, and all while holding this dagger, this knife behind their back. So when we're talking about wisdom this month and reading the book of Esther, the biggest thing is going to be developing that power of discernment, especially if you have a big heart. Like, I'm a nice person, I'm always trying to see the positive in every situation, I'm love everyone, flaws and all. But there are people who are going to try to take advantage of that personality trait in you. So you need to be able to develop the power of discernment. And sometimes the power of discernment is being quiet, just assessing the situation, maybe not speaking as so much of what you know, or just it's just reading the room. But having wisdom sometimes understands, I got to do this for a little longer. It's not just going to be a wham bam. I got to kind of assess everything. But I would just say, praying for the power of discernment, or to increase your discernment. So as we are walking into our next season, as we are finishing out 2023 strong, we're finishing it out strong and with the right people that are in our circle.
Amen. I love it. Joy, do you want to pray us out this morning?
Sure. I'm not going to be as good as Natalie, but we can go.
No comparison. We are doing what we're called to do.
Okay, dear Jesus, thank you that we're all alive today. Lord, please help everyone on this live to have a wonderful Tuesday. Help them to be able to map out all of their goals and what they're wanting to accomplish. Please block anyone who has a negative spirit or negative intentions from coming into their life. Lord, please remove anyone in our lives that are not for us, and help us to understand that if someone is leaving this season of our life, it just means that the season is over and that they were not needed to help us fulfill the rest of our blessings and our destiny. Lord, thank you for waking us all up this morning to see another day. And thank you for continuing to bless us day and day over and over again. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful prayer. Thank you for praying us out. Beautiful prayer. Thank you for praying us out. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Join me at 1 p.m. today for League of Champions. We're going to be talking all things marketing. Well, not all things. We're going to start off marketing. This week is an introductory week. Next week, we're going to get into the meat. I'm still waiting for this link to send y'all so you can join the email list. Joy and I will tell you which days Joy will be joining me on League of Champions. Joy's like, stop putting me out there, girl. You know, and I'm actually going to be with Joy at the end of the month. So we'll be on a live to bring out September together. So we brought in September together. We're going to bring out September together. And by the way, guys, this weekend, this Friday is Jewish New Year, the start of Jewish New Year. And so for those of you, go ahead and begin to identify how much money do you want to give back to God by the end of next year. One of the Jewish belief is that the amount of money you pledge to give, and it doesn't have to go to a church, it can be to a charity, right? It can be to an organization, but the amount of money you pledge to God the year before determines the proportion you get the following year. So I'm beginning to think about, you know, where I've been praying since last night. Usually I don't consider it at this time of the year. Usually I consider it at the end of the year, but I'm realigning myself with the actual Jewish New Year. And so think about which organization you want to bless, and pray about how much you want to pledge. And so it's not about how much you're making right now, it's how much you pledge. Because based on your pledge, God gives you anywhere from 4 to 100-fold, 4-fold to 100-fold, because he's given you out of your pledge. He has to give you a duplicate. It's the only time in the Bible where God says, test me. You cannot test God. It's the only time in the Bible where God says, test me and see. So test God in this season with your pledge and identify where you want to commit your funds. So with that said, see you tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. or this afternoon at 1 p.m. And Joy, of course, is going to be on live. So ring the notification bell so you can see when we're both live. God bless you. Thank you again, Joy.
Bye.
Aw.